So websites, so key to public companies. As I discuss every day with my team here, there is nothing more important to a public company for exposure to investors. If you're a product, if you're Tesla with great cars, if you're a service, unfortunately, like Rogers Cable here in Canada, your key to your company is your product or service. You're in mining, it's your property. But accessing investors, the most important asset, as far as I'm concerned, is your website. How great it is, how visible it is to potential investors into your company. So 10 to 15 minutes, love to capture what is so important to me after building websites now for 23 years, the last 6 specifically for public companies, how to attract investors, to make sure that you're doing a great job and your team is doing a great job, whether you're CEO or you're head of IR. Happy to discuss this over the next 10 to 15 minutes. If you have a chance in the right hand chat section, let us know what city and country you're from. Always a great thing to do. When I did this a year ago, and I think we ended up with 30 or 40 people online, it was so great to see people, South America, South Africa, Australia, Canada, and the US. It was great to see all these great countries and great people attend. So it's always a pleasure for me to see that and know that this is worthwhile for people out there. This is the first of 4 parts. We will be doing one in 2 weeks. I'd love to chat about social media marketing for you and how important it is to public companies. Almost as important as websites, but we'll get to their really key things to attract investors in this day and age. So happy to get rolling with that. Who am I? Why am I doing this? Love online marketing, 23 years. My first retail store, I came out of university in 1999. The success of my retail store was completely built on, we had one of the first websites in our industry. And definitely we had the first e-commerce website in our industry. So very, very proud the last 23 years to dug deep into this, consulted for major companies for many years, and the last 6 specifically for public companies. I was fortunate to be a director for 2.5 years of a mining company for Guinea Metals. And it was during those 2.5 years I realized that most of this industry, terrible websites, no social media, not capturing the attention of investors and relying on old school road shows and buying lists and all those terrible things that people still do to public companies. Not so much anymore. We found a much more viable, efficient, effective way to capture the attention of investors. So let's jump right into it. And the biggest thing that you need as a public company is a mobile-friendly website. Internet use now, over 50%, I think the number is 51 to be exact, use is by a mobile phone. Very rarely you're going to find people sitting on a desktop or laptop. They're out there 6 hours a day. The average North American is now spending online. Can you imagine that? 25% of our day. And how many hours of that do we spend sleeping? 6 hours a day, the average North American adult is spending online. So if you don't have a great website, you're not going to capture them. If you don't have a mobile-friendly website, man, you're out of luck here. So when you have a chance, whether you do it right now or you do it after the webinar, have a look at your company's website using your phone. Doesn't matter if it's Android, doesn't matter if it's Apple. Type in your website and take a look. If you can't see the menu clearly or it's not dropping down well, you can't read text very well on it or images seem distorted, you're not using a mobile-friendly website. And this happens. It happens so much. People trust their websites for some reason. You wouldn't trust your car to your neighbor's kid, but for some reason, public companies trust their website to be built by friends of friends or, hey, our neighbor's kid built it. Well, you custom coded it, and if you want anybody else to ever make a change, forget about it. It's not happening. So make sure it's built by a professional, make sure it's mobile friendly, and make sure it's built in the software that you can always get access to somebody to edit it down the road. Such key things to websites, but so many public companies. And we've spent the time, we've gone through every website of every TSX, TSXV, and CSE company. 30% of them right now either don't have a website or the website's not mobile friendly. So if you have a chance, have your team or use it yourself, head into your browser and your phone and make sure your website's appearing properly and it's mobile friendly. From there, other key attributes, make sure your public company's stock information is online and make sure it's live. Don't type in the stock price today and forget about changing it for the next 6 months. Make sure a section on your website has all the key details, stock price, make sure your shares outstanding, your market cap. These key things can be brought in real time to any website. So make sure your web developer has them online. If your company is about selling a product or service, I can understand that this content might not be, on the front page. Then make sure you dedicate a page for investors somewhere. Have your IR team put together live stock price and all the key things that go with it. Capitalization, shares outstanding, market caps, and other things that page really needs an updated investor presentation. And if you're a company that doesn't really update it every month or every few years, change the date on it often. Make sure you seem relevant and make sure this information is there and it's updated. So investor presentation needs to be there as well. Huge key thing to being able to attract public investors to a public company. Make sure it's there and make sure it's all accessible for you. Other key things on that website with your stock information, and usually when you land in this area because it's dealing in real time, an SSL cert on your website. If you're CEO or head of IR, maybe you don't understand what this is, but if you don't notice the lock closed in your browser window where your website is typed on a desktop or laptop, it means you don't have an SSL cert. We find so many public companies that you can't access because it's not secure. Make sure you have an SSL cert attached to your website as well. It's great for search engine optimization, and it really protects your websites from hackers, makes it secure. So key things that a professional website designer of your company will be able to do for you. So stock information is key, and make sure you're mobile friendly as well. So important. Investor presentations and news releases. Let's also put that under stock information here. Make sure all of your recent news releases, even the day of, have your web designer make sure it appears on your website. And don't cheap out. Have somebody spend the time to put all of your news releases on your website. You don't want to lose the web visitor whatsoever to head off to CDAR. Don't link off to CDAR to go and find our latest news release. You lose them as a web visitor. You're going to lose them to another potential public company investment. Keep them on your website. Make sure every news release is there. It's great for keywords. They're there all populated on your website, which help you run up search engines. And it just makes it easy for investors to be able to find out more information. So important there to have your news releases updated the day they happen and make sure they're there on your website in your investors area. Email collection. I'm shocked after this many years of the internet that people still don't collect emails from web visitors. Here an example of Galway Metals, who we work with and we're very proud to have as a client. There in their footer is a collection of email addresses. Capture the name, capture the email address. You don't need their phone number and feel like you're infringing on their privacy with it. You're going to call them in the middle of the night. Get their email address and use software. Use software like MailChimp, use software like Constant Contact. Have it collect in a database and send out emails. Send them out every time you have a news release, updated investor presentation. Get the information out whenever you have a great update, whenever you have a video, your CEO or any executives take part in any videos, make sure it makes its way out, collect the email address for it, and use easy software like MailChimp or Constant Contact to do it for you. So simple, but so shocked at how many public companies don't do it. Social media links. Well, we're going to be down that road soon. 2 weeks from now, I'll do a webinar on social media and how incredibly important Twitter and LinkedIn and all the others are to public companies. But right now on your website, if you have these attributes, if your company has these social platforms, make sure your web designer has links to them. And the key is, don't link in a way that people leave your website. Leave in a way that opens a new window. There's nothing worse than losing a web visitor off to somewhere you've linked them to without leaving your own website up there live. So open in a new browser, your web designer will understand it and tell them that's how you want links to leave your website. So your company website is always there, it's always visible, you're always updating potential investors with information. There with Galway is another great thing. Besides social media, podcasts. We use content, video content from YouTube. We build podcasts for our clients. So Apple, Google Android's listed there, Spotify, we're even now working with Amazon. Any video content, it's great to post a podcast and put those links as well. I mean, podcasts, they're booming. Joe Rogan, the content that people are consuming while they're driving a car, running on a treadmill, make sure links to podcasts, if your company has them, make sure they're on your website as well. Incredibly, incredibly important for your company. to attract investors. So that's it for me. I am passionate about this, as you can tell. Make sure your website has all the key things. Make sure it's mobile friendly, updated often with key information from your company, news releases, investor presentations, live stock information. Don't leave content from months ago on your website. Make sure there's the content, the widgets, the plugins necessary to keep your live stock price and other key content there accessible to investors. Collect information. Make sure you're getting their emails from everybody that visits their websites. I don't care if you use a pop-up on your website. Make sure you're collecting data so you have a way to communicate with them down the road again in the future. In social media, nothing's more important next to websites for public companies than social media to attract investors. Leads me right into 2 weeks from now. Make sure you're here as well. July 25th, 1 p.m. Toronto time. So excited to talk about social media. So many changes. Twitter, LinkedIn company pages, Facebook, Instagram. Man, did you know you should be posting to Google? Most people don't even know that. Happy to talk about it 2 weeks from now.